mean, you can say Tony Hawk, who's carried skateboarding, who has been the poster, child, who has opened up doors for even me today, you know, and the icon of our sport that made it, something that people can really, he really did expand our industry to a place of, enormous, proportions, and so, Tony Hawk can fit that, most influential, on the sport, on skateboarding itself, and and I can say on me, because he was a huge part of me, driving me to get better. I always think about our times of like going from contest to contest, and I'd be thinking, man, what's he going to come up with next? What tricks is he going to be doing? Well, I'm going to have to learn these things. He'd make up tricks and we'd learn them. But then there was a point where he was doing so many tricks and they were so difficult. I was like, I can't do a frontside gay twist. I can't even spin that way. And he's doing it like it's nothing, and I realized that there was something about him that was, definitely phenomenal. Like, even when he was a young boy, when we looked at him and he was doing these crazy, varials and, inverts, switch his hand around, kind of like come in fakey. You're like, this kid is a natural. There's, he's about as skinny as your sister, you know what I mean? At the time, he was like, so, his leg was like my arm, and I would look at him and I'd be like, how does he get speed? But there was something so, like, almost gifted, naturally talented. And Tony's, giving back towards skateboarding, with all the money and all that success. I see him, doing a Tony Hawk Foundation and really giving back and really making, a place for other people to have the facilities to grow up and skateboard. I think that says a lot about him. Well, I think that's where, editorial, because I understood, like, media, editorial pieces, advertisement, and so for me it was a kind of like the place where you're expressed to the world. And so for me, I always tried to identify with who I really was, and I didn't want to get caught up in trying to be somebody I wasn't. And TransWorld had a more conservative but professional feel to it, where Thrasher was just so like backyard, raw, grassroots, and they wanted to keep it like that. I think that was the position they held. And when I looked at TransWorld, I was like, wow, their mags looking, real professional. And I was like, you know what? I want to be professional about who I am as a person, And I think that TransWorld kind of like had that, that identity at that time. And so for me, I was always trying to be bigger than life and wanting to be in the industry and wanting to be the best. And at that time, I think TransWorld really kind of like recognized that about me, and looking at all the photos and how they covered me and really allowed me to, express who I am through the magazines.